Did it get to this point, and what are the primary sticking points in this negotiation that could potentially bring U.S. and global trade to a standstill?
Hi, a pleasure to be with you. So the union first threatened a strike back last November. So major importers and exporters and companies whose goods ship through the port have been aware of this possibility for a long time. The union walked away from any negotiations back in June, and despite several attempts by the management group to restart those negotiations, essentially they haven't been talking for several months. Now that changed about 6 hours ago when the management group announced that they were willing to pay more. They had offered a 30%, 32% increase in pay over 6 years. Then they came up to 50%. That was the first tangible movement in the negotiations that we had seen. But nevertheless, about a half an hour ago, the union went out on strike. So as of right now, all the major container ports on the East and Gulf coasts are closed.
So a really significant impact here. And of course, we don't know how long this could potentially last. Also important to point out here that those U.S. East Coast ports control a significant portion of U.S. imports. So help me understand the supply chain impact, Peter, and what impact might we see if this dispute runs for longer than just a few days?
Well, the ports on the Eastern Gulf Coast handle about nearly $600 billion of U.S. foreign trade annually, about 20% of imports. And the commodities and the goods that are moving through these ports span everything from food to construction materials to retail goods. So it'll affect the entire economy. And you also have to look at the economic impact of these ports. Take a port like Savannah, Georgia, which has maybe 2,000 dock workers working there, something like that. But they affect about 500,000 jobs around the state and around the southeast region. So any disruption of the port, any work stoppage at the port is going to have very significant economic consequences, and very quickly also.
We've also just heard that this could cost the U.S. economy up to $5 billion a day. Peter, what do your own numbers say about the expected economic impact?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the numbers are going to crank up quickly. The one thing that happens is that if you have a work stoppage of just, say, 1 week, for example, that will take easily a month to 6 weeks to be able to get the entire system of ships and containers and chassis and cargo all restarted again. A economic disruption, a port disruption of 2 weeks will easily take 2 months or more to fully play itself out throughout the system. So the longer this goes on, the quicker the economic damage will mount.